Hello there, fellow Wallalo Warriors, and welcome to the Top Experts League number 4. This is game number 1 in the group stage between Mr. Yo and BacT, and up to the very north of the map, in the blue trunks, we do have Mr. Yo himself playing as the Huns. And down to the very south of the map, playing in the orange trunks, we do have BacT, aka Tyrant BacT, playing as the Huns as well. And the first match in this best of 7 will be on Arabia. As we can see, it will be an Arabia Hun war, which is all well and good. But bear in mind, guys, that it is not just going to be Arabia Huns this tournament. Oh no, it's basically going to be home maps, and the remaining 6 games in this best of 7 will all be chosen by the players themselves from quite a large map pool. So that's really exciting stuff. And not only that, but we also have 4 incredibly good players in this tournament. We've got BacT, Mr. Yo, Slam, and Hassan going to be playing in a round robin format to see who will become the top expert to win the Top Experts League number 4. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this series goes, and obviously each set of games is going to be a best of 7, so we've got a lot of games to look forward to here. At the moment, as you probably are very well aware, the ZeroEmpires Invitational is still underway, and between those games I'm going to be casting these ones, and I'm going to give you full 100% coverage of every game played in the Top Experts League. So that's going to come kind of alternatively to the ZeroEmpires Invitational. Now, the ZeroEmpires Invitational still has a few games from the semis to be uploaded, and obviously there will be the finals, which will be streamed live. Obviously they will be uploaded to the channel as well. But between those games, like I say, I will be uploading the games from this tournament, this event, and I think they're going to be absolutely fantastic. Some of the best players in AOC at the moment playing here. So we'll have a look at their maps and see what they've got to play with, quite literally. And, well, Mr. Yo's map at the top looks actually not too bad. If you have a look at these cliffs, they're in incredibly nice locations for him, actually. This cliff here and this cliff here, close to the wood line, will allow him to do a reasonable wall-off if he wants to do it quite far out. The only downside with that, of course, is that that is, you know, quite far out from his TC. His gold and his stone are pretty horrible, though, actually, let's be honest. He has got back barriers, but his gold and his stone are way out on the front, and his secondary gold as well is way out on the far right hand side, which is actually really unfortunate for Mr. Yo, and I actually kind of take that back. He doesn't have the best map after all. This cliff is literally just too far out for him to really want to be walling this far away from his town centre. Mr. Yo, though, pushing in those deer, and I've got a feeling that we might be dancing on the ceiling. God, I need to stop. The amount of times that I've cast many games and I've just thrown in some random lyrics, it's unreal. I kind of have a feeling that we may see a drush from Mr. Yo here. He does only have the 3 villagers on the wood, but being the Huns, he can, of course, save a little bit of wood on houses, but we'll see if he sends any other villager over to wood or not. But even so, he might just have enough wood for the barracks at 6:30, in which case he could very well get away with doing a drush, which might work out very well for him given his very forward gold location. Usually, oftentimes the best offense is, the best defense is a strong offense. So Mr. Yo even delaying actually taking his second boar here, and I actually think that is a pretty solid decision. He's obviously going to be taking it now, but taking those deer in the meantime has definitely helped him out a little bit. However, a little bit of idle time under the TC, slightly slow to take that boar, as that comes back under the TC now to be killed and slaughtered for its meat. I'm doubtful that we will see a drush in the end, actually, and if we do see a drush, it will be fairly late. Mr. Yo just not going to have the wood, really. BacT, on the other hand, we'll have a look at his map in a little bit more detail. Now he too is also pushing the deer in towards his TC, and he is up on four villagers on the berries. He's taken his second ball already, which is a little bit faster than Mr. Yo as well. Did get that in a little bit sooner by the looks of things. And Bajofro's looking pretty comfortable at the moment, and indeed we will not see a drush from either of them. I almost thought that Mr. Yo would want to go for it, but as I say, I mean, he only had 3 villagers on the wood, so he wouldn't have had the wood in time to build that barracks. But we will see a fast feudal from both, and they will of course make full use of those deer to probably go with a scout rush. That's the next logical step. Bajofro's map then, we'll have a quicker look at that, and or another look at that. He's got a pretty big hefty hill in front of his town centre actually, which is rather unfortunate again, because any attacks that Mr. Yo sends forwards will be not only covering these 2 stone mines, but he'll also have an attack advantage going down. So Mr. Yo would be very well advised to keep Bajofro on the defensive here. In fact, over this area especially, would be great for Mr. Yo to come down the hill, try and pick off some villagers on the gold, and then retreat back up the hill for that attack advantage once again. So I think he's got a pretty good opportunity to do good damage to Bajofro here. Bajofro has got a reasonably good wall off on the left side. He could wall between here or here to keep this left-hand wood safe, and of course he can wall towards the town centre to keep this back section of his economy nice. But the downside, as usual, is that the gold is not in a safe location, which is often the case on Arabia anyway. So Mr. Yo, in fact, looks like he will build his wall right out the front, and like I said earlier, this is quite a forward location. It's quite far from the TC to build your walls, but with your gold this far out on the front, I think Mr. Yo kind of feels like, well, he just doesn't have many options here. It's either build it out here, build his wall off out here, or really risk not being able to take gold at all, and even maybe being forced to put up a tower just to protect his gold there. And obviously gold is going to be absolutely crucial once they make that switch into archers, which is what we can pretty much expect to see in a Hun war, with the standard build going to be scouts to archers to cavalry archers, with the possibility of knights thrown in there and a good bit of siege on the side for good measure. So there's the stable for Mr. Yo, going to go up right at the front, make sure he's not left a gap. That tree, of course, will cover the gap between the barracks and the stable. Mr. Yo and Bajofro both up on 21 population actually, and Mr. Yo now coming in with his scout. Obviously seeing that stable from Bajofro is a pretty good sign that he's going to go for scouts, let's be honest, but quite frankly, it's pretty much to be expected anyway, as Bajofro just finishes up his deer. Now this is nice because both of them have had the opportunity to take deer here, and they've still got a couple of sheep left under the TC. In fact, Mr. Yo still with 3 sheep under the TC here compared to Bajofro's 1, but has he actually? He must have found all of his sheep. Yeah, he wouldn't have left any sheep out. Obviously, Bajofro taking his food a little bit faster there, but looks like we will just see a scout rush from both. Probably even going to pass each other in the centre of the map by the looks of things. Mr. Yo just stationed on the left side as Bajofro is out the front of his base. Scout coming in at the back though, being a little bit of a pain, and you know what? He could pick off that villager if he comes in again, because he is pretty low on 14 health. However, this is going to put Bajofro on the defensive now, obviously bringing back a spearman here, forcing him to wall up this back side, which is probably what he was going to do anyway. And Mr. Yo getting in there with his scouts to just try and prevent Bajofro from walling it up. Now it looks to me like there's a gap, but yeah, there is a gap. But Mr. Yo doesn't want to go in and risk fighting one-to-one with those spears, because they will just do way too much damage for Mr. Yo to deal with comfortably. So Mr. Yo going in a little bit there at the front, a little bit too far in fact, as Bajofro hacks a little bit of HP off of that scout as he runs towards this hill where there's another 2 scouts waiting. Mr. Yo going to turn straight back around, and Bajofro losing again another chunk of health on these scouts. Bajofro though with the spearman here as well should be able to chase Mr. Yo away for now, but if Mr. Yo micros this well, he could snipe a scout and he gets out as well. Fantastic micro from Mr. Yo there, trying to just hit and run his way to victory as he retreats now with the rest of his scouts, and BacT is chased down by a wolf. Well, that's going to be interesting. He's going to have to bring his scouts over there to rescue his spearmen. The spearman will be fine, but it will be relatively weak by the time this wolf has finished its attack, and Mr. Yo, no idea that that's going on. Could take advantage of that and kill that spearman very easily, but he's going to go around the center of the map now and maybe look for an angle on this gold. I don't think he realizes that this is indeed fully walled. In fact, he doesn't even know the gold is here yet. But BacT has fully walled this up, and he's using his TC as a bit of a choke point here as well. But so far, it does seem like Mr. Yo making the most of the map control, making sure he's got BacT on the defensive, and he's not letting up for 1 minute. Mr. Yo not had to defend his base from any attacks whatsoever so far this game. That spearman from BacT as well, extremely weak now, and if Mr. Yo micros nicely, like I say before, he will be able to get that spearman down, and he's doing exactly the same as he did a second ago, baiting BacT to the hills. And you'll notice with top players, they really do that a lot. They will get every hill advantage they possibly can, because you really cannot underestimate the power of the hills in this game. They really can help to change things around, and positioning is absolutely everything. So BacT made a move out of his base to try and perhaps send a counter over to Mr. Yo, but right as he does that, Mr. Yo hitting BacT's base at the back here. Now BacT's got an opportunity, a good opportunity, because Mr. Yo will be in the back corner of his base, and he may be trapped if he is not careful. I would have maybe thought a quick wall from BacT would have come in. He could really funnel these units towards the TC, but BacT will chase him down, and Mr. Yo losing 1 scout there. So far, 1 scout apiece, and I'm waiting to see that quick wall from BacT, but he doesn't want to do it by the looks of things. Come on, man. A quick wall here would absolutely push these scouts towards the TC, but he's a little bit slow to react, a little bit slow to get those palisades down, and those scouts from Mr. Yo look like they will escape for now. In fact, they may even turn around and try and snipe some of these scouts, but in actual fact, BacT does have bloodlines, and that would just be absolute suicide for Mr. Yo at this point in time. So, good choice for him to run away at this point. His scouts are much weaker, but he is going to turn around here, which does seem a little bit odd to me. Not taking full advantage of the hill bonus that he could have done, but bringing his spearmen into the fight and turning around still. But without bloodlines, he absolutely got decimated there, and runs away with just 2 scouts left with very little HP. But we've been focusing mostly on the action so far. Back at Mr. Yo's base, he has started that archer production, and he has got 5 archers in these archery ranges already. A couple more on the way out already as well, and we need to check whether he has got fletching. I don't think he has fletching yet, but we will see once those archers pop out of the ranges here. Obviously, Mr. Yo going to need this spearman for now, and indeed he does not have fletching at this point in time. But for now, Mr. Yo should defend with these archers just fine. They will, of course, pack quite a bit of a punch, even though these scouts do have bloodlines now. So Mr. Yo not letting up any opportunities for BacT to harass him. Trying to build some walls to protect his villagers, of course, and bringing all of his villagers behind the safety of walls to make sure that this scout rush does, well, as little damage as it possibly can. I mean, these scouts are going to be a great force in combination with archers. That's pretty much the strongest feudal age combination you can do, but they're not too difficult to defend against if you take the proper precautions and make some make some spears and put those walls up, of course. So BacT probably not going to find a kill here, although he very, very nearly killed this farmer with just 4 HP left. He may try and get cheeky, he may try and get cocky. These scouts won't be a whole lot of use to him once Mr. Yo gets up to the castle age, and Mr. Yo is indeed clicking up to the castle age now on 25%. But this is a big mistake. I don't know why Mr. Yo did this. Sending this villager to take from this farm, it almost seems pointless and a little bit too risky. Is he going to get the kill? Yes, he will. BacT getting away with his life as well, but looks things, I take that back. one scout does go down. And, well, yeah, like I say, I mean, one villager there, I don't think that was really worth the trade. One villager and one spearman for 2 scouts. It's quite a big investment here. And you've got to bear in mind, BacT did go for that Bloodlines upgrade, whereas Mr. Yo did not. So Mr. Yo saving himself a little bit of resource there, and in fact going up to the Castle Age much faster than BacT in this position, with an extra 30% advantage. So I really feel like BacT's use of these scouts has not been to great effect. He did get a decent amount of kills on, or decent amount of damage to Mr. Yo's scouts on this little scuffle in the center here. But really, I don't think they've done that much damage to Mr. Yo's eco. Just one single villager going down, and Mr. Yo going to have the edge going into the Castle Age, as he's on 55 population compared to BacT's 52. So BacT now up to 4 ranges, which is the expected number. We will see crossbow coming in for both of them, as well as cavalry archer. But both of them go for 4 ranges at this stage, which means we won't see. Well, we could see actually a second TC coming down pretty quickly. But 4 ranges does usually mean very high aggression, and we could even see a 5th range coming down for either of them, and that would be a perfectly viable thing to do. So Mr. Yo sitting on 630 wood compared to the 181 of BacT here. Mr. Yo in the perfect position actually to add that second TC, and he will do it on this gold here. I think that is a fantastic decision to make. He does have that extra wood saved up. Absolutely no reason to go for it and stick that TC up. He can afford that 3rd TC as well, and he's going to place that one down somewhere over at the back of his base over here. So Mr. Yo coming in, gets that villager back, and that makes it completely even, I think, in terms of villager kills so far. Looking to see if he can find any more villagers anywhere as well, and will of course target this palisade wall, as he will A, have a hill advantage going downhill, and B, he's got enough crossbows here to take this wall down incredibly quickly. Just 250 health on that, and that is falling rapidly as these crossbow pummel it into oblivion. And Mr. Yo's going to find his way in. BacT deleting his own wall at the front to give his crossbows access. Now, BacT has the upgrade advantage. He has got an extra +1 defense, but if he fights this uphill, he might find himself in a bit of trouble unless his micromanagement is on top form. Looks like, so far, the micro from BacT is okay, but I do fear that Mr. Yo's hill advantage here is going to be enough to take this army down, and indeed, Mr. Yo will force BacT away, but he's in the front as well, and he totally could bring these guys in and do a huge amount of damage to this army right on the farms of BacT. But this is a really nice play by Mr. Yo. Didn't waste any time in getting these crossbows over here, and he went in on this side where the hill would be his, and obviously taking full advantage of that. Now BacT coming in with the cavalry archers though, and this is where that early bloodlines is really going to help him out, because these cavalry archers, of course, with an extra 20 HP, will be incredibly effective at taking down the crossbows with, double the HP and an extra attack point as well. The cavalry archer, really a powerful unit for its cost, especially as the Huns. But let's just quickly break away from this conflict, because on the right-hand side of BacT's base, Mr. Yo sending in yet another attack with a few more cavalry archers, and what the hell is going on here? My god, Mr. Yo, sitting on this hill, he's still alive, and he's still microing his ass off. This is really impressive from Mr. Yo. On this hill, doing so much damage. He's going to get another kill before he goes as well. And, I mean, just come on! BacT, what is going on? He lost so many units there, and Mr. Yo's micromanagement absolutely impeccable. He's still alive, and BacT just sending his units to their deaths. What on earth was that? I don't know. But Mr. Yo's crossbows still alive, and still gonna be doing damage to these villagers in this woodline, and all that without even having the upgrade advantage. That is what micromanagement can do, and that is just how on form Mr. Yo is at the moment. His cavalry archers are lacking bloodlines at the moment though, And there's only so far that micromanagement can get you. Once ballistics gets researched, your ability to micromanage is massively reduced, and at that point, that is where the upgrade advantage really becomes paramount, and it's important at that stage where there's less micro to make sure you are on par or have better upgrades. Now BacT has, as I say, got the upgrade advantage, but he's certainly at a disadvantage in terms of economy here. He has got his second TC up just now, but back at home for Mr. Yo, he's up and running on 3 TCs, and he has been for a while as well. Not only that, he's kept BacT locked in his base, and Mr. Yo now just wants to give BacT the runaround. He knows he's going to have a difficult time hitting BacT's economy again, but that's fine, because Mr. Yo has the eco lead now, and he can start focusing on getting upgrades and getting that army production really at full throttle as his university comes down, and he's going to be looking for ballistics very soon. In fact, we may see ballistics from Mr. Yo much sooner than BacT, because BacT still not got his third TC up yet, and typically speaking, you will want to get that third TC up before ballistics, otherwise your economy is just going to be way too weak. So I'm still wondering where these upgrades are for Mr. Yo. I'm wondering if he's got the resources to do it. I'm just wondering where they are. I mean, he could totally do bloodlines now. He could totally do leather archer armor, padded archer armor, get all of that good stuff, but at the moment he's just not bothering, and he's just investing everything, it seems, into his eco, and actually putting the priority on ballistics here, which is interesting because he's still not doing bloodlines, but he's putting the priority on doing ballistics instead of any of those other upgrades, you know, like the padded archer armor. He didn't do that before, he did it after the ballistics, and that's really interesting. That does mean, of course, that he is going to just be patrolling on in there, and, you know, that's a good sign to me that Mr. Yo has a clear advantage at this stage, a much earlier ballistics upgrade for him, and aside from the bloodlines, he is on par with the upgrades, the attack and defense upgrades at the moment. Thumb ring just coming in for Mr. Yo as well now, and that is going to be extremely potent. Thumb ring and ballistics, he's going to be doing much more damage than BacT, even though they have the same attack and defense upgrades. That faster firing speed, that higher accuracy is going to put Mr. Yo at a big advantage. Now we'll have a look at their military numbers. Mr. Yo on 28 cavalry archers and BacT on 34. So BacT now does have the advantage in military in terms of numbers, but we will just see if they have a one-on-one, pure one-on-one fight. We will see just who has the advantage here when this battle commences. Hopefully there won't be any hill bonuses to account for, but we'll have a look at this POV or fog of war of Mr. Yo, and he's spotted BacT out. BacT gonna run straight into this army here. Gonna lose a couple of cavalry archers, but BacT sitting on this hill. Will Mr. Yo want to engage this? It looks like he will want to try and get on top of the hill. There's no way he's gonna want to fight that. Just uphill. I mean, there's just too many cavalry archers there from BacT, and of course, still lacking bloodlines or not. The bloodlines upgrade just coming in for Mr. Yo now. Mr. Yo going to get onto the top of the hill, and we'll see what happens here, because bear in mind, Mr. Yo has thumb ring, Mr. Yo has ballistics. He should, in theory, win this fight. He has the advantage in upgrades now. They are even on attack and defense. They both have bloodlines, but Mr. Yo, with that thumb ring upgrade and with that ballistics upgrade, should take this fight, in theory. But I may be wrong. 22 cavalry archers for Mr. Yo, 20 for BacT, and he's starting to lose. He's starting to lose out, but the reinforcement time for BacT is much less, and it looks like Mr. Yo will actually be thwarted here. He's going to stick in there for as long as he can, but wow. Mr. Yo, leather archer armor being done, and wow, that was a real nice fight actually. Both of them just going at it, and I gotta say, I was surprised Mr. Yo lost that. Well, to be fair, I've not been following BacT's upgrades that much, but BacT must have thumb ring at this point. However, he does not have, oh, maybe he does have ballistics after all. Okay, so had the impression that BacT did not have a thumb ring or ballistics. It turns out that he did. He did have those upgrades. However, Mr. Yo at the moment, after taking those losses, still has quite a sizable score lead, and I think that may be coming from his economy a little bit here. He does have an extra TC on this gold on the right hand side, but also I think he may have had less cavalry archers going into that fight and came out with, well, did more damage, but it's really hard to say. He definitely took a big loss there, and BacT now trying, it seems, to really make a little bit of a push back at Mr. Yo, try and pick off some eco if you can, perhaps try and just keep Mr. Yo locked in his base, but I don't know where BacT is going. He's going off to the north of the map, looking to perhaps find some villagers out here in the middle of nowhere, and if he goes to the left a bit, he may find a few. So Mr. Yo coming in at the front though, and this could cause BacT to come back. I think BacT are going to look to get some villagers on this gold, but Mr. Yo paying enough attention there, and I think we may see a castle from Mr. Yo coming down in a moment as well. It looked like he did just move a few villagers forward, and we'll quickly switch to his point of view now. There's a castle going up in the center of the map. Mr. Yo going to take down the rest of these cavalry archers at the front by the looks of things. However, BacT right into this gold mine here, and Mr. Yo losing quite a couple of villagers for now, but obviously with this head advantage over here, BacT will be doing considerable damage to Mr. Yo and forcing him away from this lumber camp. So Mr. Yo at the moment winning this fight at the front, it seems, though saying that, he did just have to go up against some new reinforcements from BacT. This is what I was saying before. The reinforcement time for BacT is much, much less. BacT is up on 7 ranges now, by the way. That's a lot of ranges. Mr. Yo just on the 6 at the moment. So he is 1 range down, which is not a huge amount, I guess, but it will add up to quite a few cavalry archers if BacT is continuing to make them non-stop. And we also see some elite skirms from Mr. Yo as well, which is obviously for defensive purposes mostly. But this is really interesting to me. Over on this right-hand side, Mr. Yo's castle here and the siege workshop as well. It could be looking like he really wants to do a little bit of launch an attack from here. Almost, but he's not backed this up with any archery ranges at all. Obviously cavalry archers will move very quickly and they will reinforce very quickly, but it might be a good idea for Mr. Yo to stick a few archery ranges down near this castle if he intends to actually launch an attack from this area. So at the moment it looks like BacT has the army lead, but I think he's still behind in economy for now. He's just sticking up a 4th TC by the looks of things at the front here. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 4th TC going up at the front, and if we have a quick look at their villager counts, I cannot remember how to do it. There we go. We can see that Mr. Yo has 121 villagers compared to the 94 villagers of BacT. So that's a good, 30 villager lead almost for Mr. Yo at this stage. And military-wise, he's down by 5. Which isn't actually that bad at all for him. In fact, I think we'll see Mr. Yo going Imperial very, very soon. And BacT is quite a way off. He's on 300 food and 650 gold. Compared to Mr. Yo's 800 food and 800 gold, Mr. Yo is going to be up to the Imperial Age any second now. And with a pretty damn good economy as well. But BacT definitely making the better plays in terms of military at the moment, but I just get the impression that Mr. Yo is not that invested in military at the moment. You know, he's not really full throttle on the military production, but his eco is huge. I mean, look at this. Where is his army at this stage? It is almost nowhere to be seen. There's a few cavalry archers defending on this right hand side, and there's a few guys at the front, but other than that, you know, Mr. Yo's army is really minimal, and he's saving on the army so he can get the tech advantage. And once now he's upgraded to the Imperial Age, which he's just clicked up to, he can start really pumping on the or stepping on the gas in terms of military production. So we'll see what's going on at the front or on the right side. We've got a mangonel and a ram coming out. Of course, capped ram likely to be on the cards, but Tarkans coming up at the castle. You gotta love that. Tarkans are fantastic. But the biggest problem here, the biggest problem that I see for BacT at the moment is there's a castle on this hill on the right, there's a castle on this hill on the left, and Mr. Yo is about to reach the Imperial Age. That's worrying, and that's worrying for a few reasons, mostly because BacT is in a prime position now to lose all map control and end up being backed into a corner almost. Mr. Yo, once he gets to the Imperial Age, is not going to let up on this aggression at all, and it could be very difficult for BacT to deal with that. Now BacT though, trying to rush down this castle, however the Tarkans from Mr. Yo will actually really help in this situation at taking down these rams. I've got a feeling that these rams will not be too successful, but we may see the siege workshop go down, in which case it's a minor victory for BacT. The siege workshop going down is not the real issue here, it's the castle on the hill that's the big problem. On the left side, Mr. Yo's castle is up. He's putting another castle up in the middle as well. And these three castles, as I say, going to provide a perfect base for Mr. Yo to push out from. His Tarkans, of course, Bloodlines benefiting from that. +1 defense as well. But for now, he's actually pushed away from this castle, and it's a little bit worrying because there's a lot of rams coming in here, and I think BacT may actually take that castle down, in which case Mr. Yo is in a little bit of a tough spot because he really wants that castle for this Tarkan production. So we got Tarkans on the left, Tarkans in the center, and Tarkans on the right. It pretty much says one thing to me, that we are going to see Tarkans running into BacT's base and trying to destroy everything in sight. The one thing that I don't understand at this point is why Mr. Yo is not making more cavalry archers. He's got 800 wood in the bank, he's got 1,200 gold in the bank. He could afford to make all the cavalry archers in the world, but in actual fact he's really not, and he's not making anything from these military buildings, which seems really odd to me. You know, he could quite easily afford some knights, he could quite easily afford some cavalry archers here, but it seems like he's almost throwing this by trying to go for the Tarkan strategy. Tarkans are all well and good, but they don't stack up that well against knights, for instance. Just look at the Tarkan stats: 110 HP and 7 attack, compared to the knights 120 and 10, and that's unupgraded as well. So the Tarkan strat here, it's a little bit of a gimmick, it's a little bit of like a cheese, and I think maybe Mr. Yo thinks that he was a little bit further ahead than he really was. It's hard to say. But at the moment, this castle looks like it may go down, as there's a lot of rams here from BacT. The elite Tarkan research just being done though, which will certainly help Mr. Yo out, but really, he should be falling back to these military production buildings and starting to make some more cavalry archers, or switching to knights. I mean, of course, he's dealing it with knights from BacT here anyway. But now that elite Tarkan upgrades come in, it could buy Mr. Yo the extra stats he needs on these guys to make this work out. However, it does look like this castle is still gonna fall. It's hard to say. It may just hang on. I mean, there's a lot of villagers healing this up, and the Tarkans now attacking the rams as well, and I take that back. The castle will stay up for now. Mr. Yo doing conscription so we can get those Tarkans out a little bit faster. I'm surprised. That was so close. Oh, it's out of stone. But man, Mr. Yo was so incredibly close to losing that castle, and now suddenly Mr. Yo has the Tarkans he needs. I am so surprised that he's managed to pull this one off. At one point, it looked like this entire Tarkan strategy was going to fall through, but he's managed to keep this castle alive, he's managed to keep the Tarkans queued up, and now he's got conscription as well. These guys actually are going to become much more formidable, well, not more formidable from conscription, they're going to be coming out much faster, and now he has got the +4 defense, they are more formidable, and now I'm actually a little bit concerned for BacT. It looked like for a minute BacT may have actually pulled that one right back and, you know, pushed Mr. Yo right back. But now Mr. Yo has these elite Tarkans done, and now they're coming out from 3 castles at a time. This is looking very, very dicey for BacT, and there's the GG from BacT as well. I did not expect him to give it up that easily, but he was very slow to get up to the Imperial Age here. And that entire game, Mr. Yo knew that he was going for the Tarkan strategy, you know, quite early on, because we saw very little military from Mr. Yo in the Castle Age. Mr. Yo in the Castle Age was all about the boom. He was booming, booming, booming. He was securing these resources, and he got up to the Imperial Age so much faster than BacT. And BacT spent a lot of time and a lot of resources investing into the cavalry archers. And whilst he did win some really nice battles against Mr. Yo on cavalry archer wars, he did a really good job of that. He just didn't seem to hit Mr. Yo's economy enough to slow it down. And at the end there, Mr. Yo with 130 villagers, BacT with 122. But at one point, Mr. Yo had a 30 villager lead over BacT, and that was when he was going up to the Imperial Age. So Mr. Yo had the resources available to him, and it was extremely risky and extremely dicey because BacT nearly had these castles down. And if he had taken them down, then obviously BacT would have put himself back into the game. But Mr. Yo kept those castles alive and kept those Tarkans coming out, and in the end it paid off because he won the game. So there you have it, guys. Game number 1 in this best of 7, and game 2 will be coming your way very shortly. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a little like, leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. But for now, guys, thanks very much for watching. I've been Zach, and I will see you next time.